Good afternoon, everybody. Today is story time. This is a true story. I'm going to tell you the story because I got a PM from someone that had bought a Brahma pair from me, and they're very young still, and she was wondering why the male was not acting like the rooster she expected him to act like. And I had to tell her, well, these Brahmas, they take a long time to mature. He's a baby. He's not going to buck up against the rooster that's already there, even if it's a little bitty rooster. Size doesn't make any difference. They're very mild-mannered anyway. But, I got to think about people's expectations of roosters. And they get a rooster and they expect he's going to take on predators. Well, I'm going to tell you a story about my friend's Blue Orpington rooster. He's a big fella, maybe 12, 13 pounds. This happened a few years ago when he was younger. I think he's just turned 8 this summer, believe it or not. I can't even believe he lived that long with all the stuff he's been through. But I'm going to read you the story. This is a true story. I actually went up to visit her in Kentucky right in the middle of this one for the first part of the story happened. So I know this rooster personally, and let me just tell you, okay? I'm just going to read the story. She said, I've heard folks say, I do not need a rooster, they crow so much, or I don't need a rooster, but most often it's why do I need a rooster? Well, here's an excellent example of why to have one and why they're so special. 3 weeks ago, I lost a beautiful buff cochin to a coyote. She was snatched just a few feet from my front porch. We found where the coyote had lain and watched us, working on pens and so forth, waiting for us to go inside. When we did go inside, for about 10 or 15 minutes, the coyote grabbed my girl and carried her off. I found all of my girls under the front porch, with the exception of 4 that had hidden in the woods, but my rooster was standing alone between the porch and where the attack occurred. I found my cochin's wings and legs, but her torso was taken to the den. I understand why my cochin was lost. She was big and slow, the slowest moving bird I owned, so my roo was able to get everyone to safety but her. We found the coyote's den, and my diligence in hunting her and watching over my flock became paramount. I did everything I could to discourage the coyote and take away her sense of safety. It paid off. She moved the babies. That was one option I had hoped would happen as a last resort. My choice was to hunt her down and destroy her and then the youngsters. They are merely future predators, and one's too young to fend for themselves without their mother, so I chose that option out of humane regard for the youngsters. This decision is mine solely, not open for discussion, nor is it the point of this post, so please leave it alone. So she moves the youngsters, and my diligence stays guarding my flock and hunting her, to no avail until today when I witnessed an act so amazing I would have 40 roosters if I could. I admit to being simply in awe. Here's what happened. I'm upstairs when my husband calls to me, honey, you better come down, something's up with the chickens. So I come downstairs, grab my rifle from the closet as my husband's telling me the girls just came flying all across the yard, heading for the coop in a strange manner. I go out the front door and I cannot see any of the birds. Suddenly I see a flash of white crammed into the coop. One of my Delawares is hiding under there. I start taking a closer look, and all of my girls, 18 total, are under the coop. So I start wondering where Lancelot is. And I look for him and find him standing statue still near the road, about 8 feet from the coop, targeting off on a spot in the distance. I follow his line of sight and see nothing. I call to him, Lancelot, what's wrong, big boy? He looked at me briefly with this look that I can only describe as calm and confident, as if he was saying, I got it, Mom, no worries. So I kept looking all around, hoping to see the slightest movement. Nothing. The girls are quiet and hiding, and Lancelot is standing in the same spot. So after 4 minutes, I walk back inside and decide to walk through the dining room and check out the back, make sure the ducks are okay, and that all is in order. As I step onto the threshold of the sliding glass door in my dining room, the second story of a tri-level, it happens. Lancelot comes running around the corner of the house and towards my area in the middle of the backyard. He stops, turns, and stands to full height. I barely get, Lance, what are you, through my brain when Mrs. Coyote comes skidding around the corner, full speed towards my rooster. I raised my rifle, prayed, took aim, fired, and started running for the stairs. I only had one shot. There was no time to eject the round and load another before she got him. It was a good shot, thank heavens. I dropped the coyote about 15 feet from my brave rooster. I grabbed my rooster up into my arms, and I'll admit I was crying and asking, are you okay, as I was checking him over. He was fine, and I put him down and watched him immediately run past the coyote towards the coop, making a sound making a call I had never heard, but one that the girls instinctively understood. One by one, excuse me, let me turn the page. One by one, little heads popped out from under the coop, and the girls started rushing out towards him. Everyone safe and counted for. Now, some may say, well, no biggie, he was being a rooster. Well, yes, he was, but think about this for a moment. He could have easily stood his ground in the tall grass where he was. I doubt the coyote saw him until he took off running. This leads to the why. Did he run? Why did he take the time to run down a hill, around the house, and stop halfway to safety, turn and wait for her? Well, this is why. He did what he's genetically designed to do. He protected his girls. He took the girls to safety, stood guard, and then he took the predator away from the girls. He willingly, proudly, and bravely stood still facing a coyote charging him, prepared to fight till his last breath. There was no fear in him. There was only duty, obligation, and an internal directive to stand, fight, and protect. So if you consider that he lost one girl 3 weeks ago, and chickens recognize by facial features, they can recognize 100 different chickens by their facial features, it would stand to reason that he saw the coyote, knew why it was there, and deliberately took it away from his girls. Now, whether or not he knew if he fell where he was, the coyote would be a couple of feet from his girls, who knows? But I do know what I saw. I saw a deliberate move to put the fight where he wanted it. So why do you need a rooster? You don't, but your hens do. The rooster that crows and annoys you will sacrifice himself, gladly protecting his flock. He will do it while showing no fear, no hesitation, and no doubts. So the better question is, why don't you need a rooster? Okay, well, that story, that rooster, guess what? That's not your rooster. That's just about not anybody's rooster, to be honest. He also fought with a fox on more than one occasion. He's killed a stray cat. He took on a Rottweiler who got into their coop. Him and 6 other roosters were fighting this dog, including some hens were fighting. So, first of all, you need to not expect your rooster to do what you think your rooster is going to do. I mean, nobody expected him to do that, but that boy is 1 in a million. Don't expect that of your rooster. I'm telling you, do not expect that. This boy right here, Hector, he might try. I don't know. He's not really had to fight a predator. He's alarmed. He stood watch when he saw something. But, I mean, I don't know if he would do what Lancelot did in that case. I have my doubts. I mean, the chances he would live through it are pretty nil. But I think I've lost my audience here. But anyway, hello, girls. You're leaving me. But anyway, it's about to storm out here. I think we got some dark clouds up there. But that story, after she lost her buff coaching, that weekend I came to visit, and we sat and we did coyote watch duties. What we did, and they found the den that we could in a pasture down the hill across the road from where she lives, which is in a very rural, very secluded area, and you know, that coyote, obviously, she defended her rooster, who would have defended himself. He didn't call for Mom to help, obviously. But anyway, don't expect this of your rooster. This boy is 1 in a million, and he actually has lived to tell the tale of many predator attacks. Right now, my friend had health problems, and this rooster had to go live with a friend of hers. And he's been there for a couple of years now, and he attacks the goat. He attacks the goats. So, but you know, don't expect your rooster to be Rambo. Do not expect him to be Rambo, especially if he's young. If he's very young, don't expect that. So that's what I want to do, is just tell you that neat story, and say that rooster will probably never be your rooster or mine. But I hope you enjoyed the story. He's a great rooster, and he will live in our hearts forever. That boy. We'll talk to you later.